Life on land is one of the most important parts of our world. The United Nations defined life on land goal as protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. There are many threats to life on land in the world, such as climate change, deforestation, and even lost natural habitat have all threatened and caused damage to the Earth's life. Life on land is a part of the 17 development goals the UN requires its member countries to contribute to. The goal itself has 12 different targets, each aiming to protect life on land from different threats. Targets are made to be specific for each threat. For example, Target 15.7 focuses on poaching and 15.8 focuses on preventing invasive species from hurting native wildlife. These threats have affected us in our local Tampa Bay area. Luckily, there are organizations currently working in Tampa to combat these threats. Many are faith-based and Buddhist organizations that work to protect life on land in the local Tampa Bay. Buddhism in general emphasizes the protection of life on land. In Tampa, there are threats to life on land, but there are currently faith organizations based in religion and non-faith organizations that use Buddhist ideals to combat those threats in the Tampa area. For example, invasive species in the local Tampa have caused many native species to become endangered. Recently, cane toads have been a big threat to natives in Tampa as an invasive species. Cane toads are giant poisonous toads that pose a massive threat to the native wild and pets in the local Tampa area. Cane toads are just one example of invasive species hurting native species. Preventing invasive is one of SDG 15 targets, which shows that this goal can directly relate to the Tampa area. Organizations help to solve issues with life on land by rescuing animals who are endangered. They work to help to prevent animals from facing harm and suffering. Even when deforestation happens, groups concerned about SDG 15 will work to prevent further deforestation. Buddhists believe that living things will be reborn until they can reach nirvana. Nirvana can only be achieved once a person eliminates all greed, desire, hatred, and ignorance. They can eliminate all those bad things by following the Eightfold Path, which has 3 categories: wisdom, moral conduct, and concentration. It is within these categories we can see why Buddhists would work to reach the SDG life on land. In the moral conduct category, right action and right livelihood both advise from killing, and more specifically killing living things. Buddhists believe that a person could be reborn as an animal, so they want to protect the lives of all living things, because you never know what that animal was in its past life. They protect life on land since it can help them reach that state of nirvana the Buddha described. Some organizations are not affiliated with any faith but work with them to help work on the life on land goal. One of them is the Animal Interfaith Alliance, AIA, which is a non-profit organization recognized by the United Nations. AIA does not have one faith it's affiliated with, but it works with all kinds of faiths. Their main goal is to speak up for animals and make sure to treat them well, which is protecting life on land. They support a lifestyle called Ahimsa, which is a lifestyle that Buddhists support, doing where you live in a way where you do not harm animals. AIA makes that global superpowers like the UN have plans to protect animals like SDG 15. AIA also makes sure to educate people on what to do to make sure animals are protected. They teach people through events and other competitions that educate people on how to properly take care of animals. They also work with the Parliament of World Religions, where they can spread their directly to members of multiple religions, including Buddhism. In general, through the works of all faiths around the globe, especially Buddhism. Buddhist temples in the Tampa area work with the organization to protect the rights of animals. The Big Cat Rescue does help life on land in the Tampa area, as it is a registered non-profit organization and relies on donations to fund its organization. They operate in Tampa and rescuing tigers that are in trouble and are being harmed. They post videos and photos of the cats they rescue and engage with their audience online. Big Cat Rescue is dedicated to combating the abuse and exploitation of exotic cats through legislative initiatives and advocacy efforts. They had some successes, including the passage of laws like the Big Cat Public Safety Act. This prohibits private possession and breeding of big cats, which means these cats will not be in the hands of bad owners. Big Cat Rescue does not deal directly with Buddhists, but the organization believes in the same ideas as Buddhists. They both protect and believe in protection, which draws back to the moral conduct Buddhists specifically believe in. The ideals of Buddhism relate to non-faith-based organizations like Big Cat Rescue. Forever Yours Pet Rescue and Placement Services, based in Tampa, Florida, operates as a volunteer-run non-profit. The goal of the organization is to save animals at risk of being euthanized. Pets are placed in foster homes rather than cages where they can have a better life. This allows for the pets to have more socialization and be more healthy. This approach allows the organization to assess the pet's behavior and personality accurately. This allows for better matches with potential adopting families. This system makes sure the pets have good homes rather than being placed back into abusive homes instead. Once again, this organization is using ideals similar to Buddhism. They use ideas of right action by placing these animals in good homes. They are mindful of taking care of the animals and making sure they get good care. These are both core Buddhists, and it is why many help with this organization, because right mindfulness and right action lead to nirvana. Most of these organizations in Tampa do not directly have an affiliation with Buddhism, but they exhibit the ideas that relate to Buddhism. These organizations' goals and ideas would lead a person closer to nirvana. That right action is where you decide to do a good thing by protecting animals. The right mindfulness is where you are aware of these bad things happening to animals and you choose to help. Right though, out of love, you choose to help animals who need help, like Big Cat Rescue or Forever Yours Pet Rescue. All the organizations do activities in Tampa, but they may not be Buddhist, but they certainly follow the ideas of Buddhists. These Buddhist ideals are integral to what each of these organizations do, even though they may not be a Buddhist organization. Keep using non-profits to keep fighting to protect life on land. Particularly ones that use similar ideas to Buddhism, which wants to protect all life on land. With these Buddhist-like ideals in an organization, animals can be protected. Supporting these non-profits helps fix the solution. We can fundraise for these non-profits through faiths like Buddhism, who already have a lot of members in Tampa. Since members who Buddhists care about life on land, they will want to donate. So overall, if we keep using non-profits with ideals that Buddhism, we will be able a lot of money from Buddhists. That will allow the non-profit to be financially stable and continue to do good work. Buddhists in Tampa themselves could also find a non-profit to protect life on land. Non-profits must have some sort of community around to be successful in the area, and it would work perfectly if based as a Buddhist organization. The main point is the solution should not have to be faith-based to be successful. It could still receive support from a local faith like Buddhism if they have similar goals. Tampa Bay can create a modern environmental preservation strategy, focusing on lots of outreach to the community, sustainable land management, as well as biodiversity preservation. The connections between risks that face Tampa Bay, the Sustainable Development Goal of Life on Land, SDG 15, and the learnings of Buddhism often tend to highlight how important taking action to conserve terrestrial ecosystems is. The SDGs provide a worldwide framework addressing the various issues that land ecosystems face. It highlights how important conservation and sustainable land management are to preserving the delicate balance of life on Earth. In Tampa Bay, along with many other cities, Buddhism shares a commitment to safeguarding many areas of where we live and breathe. Buddhist ideals even relate to non-faith-based organizations to protect life on land. Buddhist teachings provide frameworks for environmental stewardship. If we find ways to create partnerships between governmental agencies, non-profit organizations, and religious institutions, we can make a path towards sustainable land management, biodiversity conservation, and much more. There are many ways that you can help even as students, is by volunteering at local environmental organizations. These organizations may provide internships, volunteer opportunities, and job placements, allowing students to learn more about wildlife conservation, gain valuable experience, and make a valuable contribution to the local community. Another way to help is by donating to wildlife conservation organizations, which can be done through online crowdfunding platforms or by donating directly to the organizations. Additionally, you can also help wildlife by becoming involved in research and conservation projects at the university.